Alright, hello all you individuals who probably have nothing better to do, and welcome back to another Roman history video. If you think I don't sound excited, you would be right, but, and it's not the fault of the history. Anyway, so, last episode, we saw this guy, Marcus Corvus, yeet some Samnites, and then yeet some more Samnites, and in this episode, he's going to yeet even more Samnites. Yeah, thanks for watching, and... No, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, no, but seriously, yeah, just pretty much, Marcus Corvus just yeeted some more Samnites, and what he did first is, you see, these, Samnite guys, the territory marked in red, roughly, they were like, hey, it would be a great idea to besiege some cities, am I right? Or am I right? Yeah, so they pretty much just started yeeting up some cities. And then, yeah, they were attacking the city. But you see, the trouble with the Samnites was that they sent out several foraging parties. Depicted here. You know, yeah, you've got all your foraging parties around. And yeah, at this point, Marcus Corvus was like, you get to get destroyed, and you get to get destroyed, and you, yeah, you get the idea. And, the Samnites got, deleted from existence. Alright, and, yeah, that ends the year of 343. Let me just put that in big letters. 343, in which, you know, the Samnites were not victorious. They got yeeted even more. And, yeah, now at this point, we're into 342. And if you remember last time, we talked about the city of Capua. Capua being in Campania somewhere. You know, around this area, sure. We'll go with that. And, yeah, at this point, Capua was in the hands of the Romans, because the Romans were like, hey, free city, if you remember at the last one. Let's say that this is Capua. So, yeah, you know, at this point, we've got a Roman garrison. Yep, pretend that's a soldier, okay? Yeah, so at this point, you've got, your soldiers, and they're outside the city, you know, and, you know, you could be forgiven for thinking, hey, the Romans have this in the bag, you know, why don't they just yeet the Samnites already? But it's not that simple, because you see, soldiers were outside the city, you know, and they were guarding it, but inside the city, the inhabitants were living it up. They were having a grand time, their PS5s came early, and, you know, everything was generally awesome, and, you know what, I'm not going to play the song from the Lego movie, but everything was awesome, you know? So, if, we drew a graph at this point, which I will do, actually, let's draw the two axes. Now, one of the things I'm going to do in black is the general happiness of the, Capuan people. Yeah? You see that? Now, the other line I'm going to draw is the general happiness of the Roman soldiers that are protecting the Capuan people. Notice any trends? Yeah, so at this point, the soldiers are like, hey, you're stupid, you know, you get all your PS5s and your Xbox Series X or whatever, and you know what, you're dumb and mean and dumb and stupid, and yeah, these Roman soldiers weren't the smartest lot, and, you know, so at this point they were like, yeah, shut up, nerd, and, yeah, they were just, they decided to rebel. Now, you see, the soldiers weren't merely content, you know, to be discontent. Haha, content to be discontent. I'm bad at puns. Yeah, but they decided to make their disapproval more tangible, you know. Not maybe in a strongly worded letter to Rome, maybe not even in a strike, you know. Like, hey, give us more pay or we'll stop soldiering, like had been done previously. No, they just decided to take things slow, you know, just start out by telling the people of Rome that, you know, they were going to take over Capua until further notice. Wait, they were going to take over Capua until further notice? Oh my god, yeah. So they took over Capua, and they decided to start marching on Rome, as was the pressure valve for soldiers then, and probably forever. You see, so they started marching, taking that route, and, they didn't have a leader, surprisingly. No, not really. They were just too fractious to actually declare a leader, so instead, they decided, hey, in one of the first and only instances of this ever, and also a really funny instance, you know what, let's go kidnap some guy and make him lead us. So, I'm sure that will make us the greatest fighting force ever. So, in a weird instance of involuntary leadership, they were like, hey, Titus Quinctius. Okay, so for some background, Titus Quinctius was, like, a retired Roman general, who, like, lived in the countryside, and he was just, lying around, So they were like, hey, Titus Quinctius, will you lead us in a revolt against the country that you fought for and did stuff for? And Titus Quinctius, like, predictably was like, heck no, who are you? Get out of my house. And they were like, we'll murder your family if you don't help us rebel. And Quinctius was like, okay, fine, you're all dumb. So at this point, they decided to start marching on Rome. So they were like, march, 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 march. And yeah, at this point, they were pretty close to Rome. And, who comes rushing in but our guy, our legend, our hero, Marcus Corvus. And, you see, Marcus Corvus was like, hey boy, you better get away from Rome. And the dudes were like, nah, you suck. And Quinctius was like, no, please, just kill them all so I can go home. And, Corvus was like, alright, you know what? You guys are going to get a full pardon, okay? No one will ever speak of this again, and you'll just be A-okay, no consequences. That's not actually how it went. It was very touching. He said, the reason is because they were not, beloved by Rome, and that they should be more beloved by Rome. And he was like, hey, you guys are friends, you're Romans, we're Romans, why don't we be friends? And they were like, okay. And Quinctius was like, yes, finally, now I can go back home. And so he did, and he died after having a relatively uneventful rest of his life. So, yeah, we can forget about him at this point. Someone we can't forget about, though, is Marcus Corvus, because he'll appear several more times, and it'll all be very interesting, I'm sure. Alright, yeah, so that was 342, that's the only major event. Now, 341, you see, the Romans, despite what you may think from that, you might think, oh, everyone else was off relaxing while Marcus Corvus went and helped the wayward sons of Rome. That's not true. So you see, in 341, one of the consuls, a guy named Marcus, he was like, hey, let's raid the Samnites and pillage and plunder and stuff. And, he was going in with a big army, fully expecting to fight a battle, only to learn the Samnites were away. They were attending a ball game or something, who knows. But, they were all away, so he pretty much did some raiding and left. And coincidentally, for sure, totally unrelated to the fact they just let a huge foreign army into their country, the Samnites chose that year to sue for peace. So they were like, oh, please, Romans, please don't kill us, we're stupid, and we bow down to you, and you're awesome. And, the Romans were like, yeah, sure, I'm, to quote Peanuts, he's, Joe Cool, yeah. I don't have any actual Thug Life classes I can apply here, but just pretend they're there. Make sure to dislike, unsubscribe, and don't comment, and I hope never to see you guys again. Goodbye.